Hey everyone, so today's tutorial is going to be a short one, but as I'm doing these videos on how to improve the COVID response, or for my folks that are resolving their COVID infection, an option, especially if fatigue is part of your scenario or your profile post-COVID, which a lot of people it is, I want to suggest that there's B12 that you can take advantage of. So this is droplet form of B12. I did do a video on methylated B12, which I think is a little bit better than regular B12. This is, I don't have my glasses, but so that's Now Foods brand. It tastes pretty decent. This is the information that you might be able to read or look up if you want to. So Lacey's going to give me a shot. And so your options are either B12 in tablet form, B12 in dropper form, or B12 shot. The cool thing about the shot is that you can sometimes get a little bit of a response of energy, usually for about 2 to 3 weeks. Do you think people maintain for about 2 weeks?
Yep.
So a lot of my patients, especially older patients, and I think it's older, I think it's older because the stomach lining is, number one, it's thinner. Number two, the mucus layer is terrible in older people. Kids have this mucus layer that is just super thick, but as you get older, it's poorer. And also the intrinsic factor that's supposed to be secreted in the small intestine, it's lower. So you have a problem with absorption of B12, and thus when my older patients get B12, they're jacked up. And they can tell usually when it's wearing off because they'll call up. It's supposed to be one B12 shot either in the arm or in the buttock every month, but I'll have people say, hey, it's only 2 weeks. Can I come in again? And honestly, B12, there's no toxicity with it because it's theoretically water soluble. So this, even though it goes in the arm, the muscle, it's supposed to, and you hardly feel it. It's a piece of cake, honestly. I can probably do it myself, but nah, maybe I can't. You don't feel it. And the only problem I had was sometimes when I'm exercising, I like to do shoulders. I don't like to get in the shoulder. I probably would have got it here, but I don't want to expose my cheek to you guys. So again, the data is there that it does help with energy and the processes of the cell. And the anecdotal data is there. Just ask anybody who's taken B12 shots before. The problem with B12 tablets, chewables, pills, or liquid is that it doesn't give that kind of a response. And I think I can get people to take B12 in the oral form, and they come in and their levels are sky high into the thousands. And usually that window, I like to have people into the 700 to 800 range, and they all get worried when they see the numbers of the blood test coming back as 1,000 or 1,200, and that's okay. Again, I don't think there's any data that I've been able to find, and this is only one. This is only one study, and there's a couple others out there. But hey, listen. When you want to weigh the effects of something, you weigh the risks and the benefit, and you come up with a risk-benefit ratio. And when there's no risk and there's only benefit, that's a positive. I think that'll give you all the inspiration you need as a physician or as a patient to say, hey, do it. Especially if there's going to be an element of energy involved. If there is, and you're suffering from chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, or you're resolving your COVID fatigue, I think this is a reasonable thing to do. So you can check out the natural killer cells and the immune stimulating effect of B12, or you can just get a shot. If you're one of my patients, call up. We'll give you a shot. You can see, without changing any other variables, how you respond to energy in the 2 to 4 weeks following the shot. And if you don't notice it, stop it automatically, no more shots, and see if your energy really dumps, and then you'll notice the effect. So again, low side effect profile, high benefit ratio, and bottom line is, if your B12 is low, and to me low is 400 or below. If your B12 is low, or you're a vegan, or a vegetarian for that matter, please consider just taking B12. If you're suffering from COVID and your B12 level is okay, come to me. I'll still give you a shot just to move the fatigue, because that can be damaging for folks. So the amount of damage from fatigue from COVID versus the potential for giving B12 to somebody who's already B12 efficient, there's no damage. So I'll do it anyway. So just let me know. If those of you who have had B12 shots, put your responses on how you tolerated it and what you felt. Those of you who take B12 pills and compared it to your shots, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next tutorial.